The only spell that you will see me typically use that has no item is called Incremus. It is a full party attack and defense buff. I don't even have it yet because it's actually meant to be more of a late game thing. I won't actually have that spell. I'll actually start getting it soon. Actually, we're gonna start grinding towards Incremus soon. But Incremus is a full party buff. There is no full party version of it as an item. There are single person versions, but that means that every member has to waste a turn using it on themselves. And we kind of don't want that. We don't want to waste an entire round to have everybody buff themselves. So if one character can do the buff, that saves me time. So that's kind of the one spell you will actually see me cast as a spell in combat. What playable characters do we have access to? Depends on what point of the game we're in. The game starts out with playable characters as Vice and Aka. It takes actually a while for us to see more than that. We also end up getting Drachma, who we no longer have. He's already been dropped out of the storyline by this point. Drachma is more of a... is kind of a tank, kind of a heavy damage dealer, but he doesn't really do much else. It takes him a long time to learn spells, things like that. The story cares more about Drachma because he gives us a ship. After we get Drachma, we get Fina. And Fina's kind of important because the base party is Vice, Aka, Fina. After that point, at various points around the storyline, we will receive additional party members. So we lost Drachma fairly recently. Now we have picked up Gilder, who will stay with us for a short period of time. Gilder is, pistol attacker. He's kind of meant to be more of a, kind of like a trickster. He does have some abilities, and we will not see any of them. We kind of use him more because he gives us a ship. That's kind of the only reason we care about Gilder as a gameplay way, is he gives us a ship, and he kind of pushes the story along. Lastly, we will be seeing Prince Enrique. He will be showing up in about 2 hours, if I had to make a guess. He will be our last playable character, and he will join our party at the same time that Gilder leaves that Phoenix. So in total, 6 total playable characters. Max party size is 4. But actually right now we are split to 2 parties of 2 for this dungeon. So we will actually be going back and forth between Aka and Fina and Vice Gilder for about the next hour. Okay, so a bunch of storyline shit just happened. So, blah, 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 I commented on some of it. So, blah, 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 blah. Aka and Fina, their whole thing they've been trying to do while Vice has been cast away is to build enough money to buy themselves a ship. They succeeded. And then now they have themselves a ship, they were going to go hunt him down. But, just as they were preparing to leave, and as they were being hit on by Gilder, they came across an old man who was collapsed outside of their inn. They gave him food and water, and he told them that he is a pirate just like them, and he has a treasure map. Turns out that he had an old friend named Gonzalez, who he was waiting for. They both had a half of the treasure map to make sure they would both go and find the legendary treasure of Dracat. Or Ducat. I think it's actually supposed to be Ducat. But they're going to try to find the legendary treasure. Problem was, Gonzalez vanished one day and was never heard from again, and so his partner waited until old age, never saw him again, and has now passed on the treasure map to Aka and Fina. Problem is, the treasure map only contains half the map, because Gonzalez and his friend split in half. So Aka and Fina know that if they can go find this weird skull thing, which is supposed to be on the Valuan continent, that from there they will then be able to find the place. Lucky thing is, I've already found the skull, which actually isn't required at all in order to find the legendary island. And I haven't done the legendary island, so we're going to go straight there. At about the same time, Vice, while he was on Crescent Island, found the body of... Damn, I'm not liking this. Vice found the body of Gonzalez and found the other half of the treasure map. So, Vice and Gilder will also be chasing the treasure map. They have a very different hint. I think, I want to say their hint is, ooh, nice. Fina. A lot of damage. Vice and Gilder have another thing. Theirs just says basically go straight north from Nasser. So the idea is you find it with Athena and Aka, and then it's the exact same place. So they will all converge on the island. And then we are going to spend a while in this dungeon. This dungeon is actually kind of long. We'll spend a while in this dungeon, going kind of back and forth, doing one part and then the other. Kind of a very Goonies feel to the dungeon. Very end, they will find each other. What's the floating star around Mina? So, Athena, that is something called Cupel. Cupel is a pet and weapon that Athena has. When not in combat, he is a bracelet around her wrist that you'll never see. But he's kind of a weird monster thing that has been with Athena since she was a kid. And he is the only weapon that she has. So you will notice everybody else has a weapon. Athena does not. Cupel acts the same way as any other weapon does, so he changes elements just like any other weapon. So right now he's currently the red element, because that is what I want it to be. And Cupel is, yeah, just like Mako's saying. Cupel's kind of special because he has a single collectible related to him. Please do not kill Athena. That was very mean of you. He has a single collectible related to him called Chams and Aberrant Chams. We have actually collected one of each so far this stream. And the idea is that you collect them throughout the entirety of the game, so we will collect the 30th and final Cham once we hit the final dungeon of the game. And the idea is that you feed Chams and Aberrant Chams to Cupel, and as you do, his form will gradually change. So right now, he's that weird star form. When we first got him, he just kind of launched people in that ball form that you saw him in already. And every form comes with kind of unique abilities and also stats. Generally, the higher up you go his chain, the more damage he does, but there are very specific forms that are better than others. I don't know what the star form necessarily does. I can't remember the full details. The sword form, which is what he was before star, had fairly good damage, but also happened to silence enemies rarely. I don't know what star does. The Cham right here. That's kind of what we're looking for. We're looking for that alert. Well, everybody has a basic attack, but there's also what is known as super moves. You actually saw me use one for just a second there, but I happened to skip the animation. Everybody has unique super moves, and super moves are different per character. Every character has slightly different super moves that do slightly different things. So, for example, Vice has 5 super moves. Most of them, I think all 3 of the main characters have 5, and I believe all of the guest characters have 3 each, if I remember correctly. So everybody has basic attacks, and you'll basically see me use basic attacks for the majority of the game, because I don't really need to do anything else. So Vice's first basic attack is something called Cutlass Fury. You will see me use that a lot for the near future. Cutlass Fury is just basically high damage. Vice has a second ability called Counterattack. Vice will go into counter stance, and if an enemy does a basic attack against Vice, Vice will immediately counterattack, negating their damage. It is useful, except it isn't. Vice's third ability is called Rain of Swords. It is a AoE that hits all enemies on the field. And does fairly massive damage. You will see me use that a lot once we all get all 4 members back together, because it basically ends combat. It does enough damage to basically kill everybody instantly. Sadly, we do not have this ability right now, otherwise I would be using it right now. Vice's fourth ability is called Skull Shield, if I remember correctly. It basically does counterattack for all allies, so every ally, if they are attacked with a basic attack, will counterattack. So it's useful, kind of, but there really aren't any enemies in the game at this point that just basic attack, so it's a little bit pointless. Vice's final ability is called Pirate's Wrath. We will not be seeing that for another 2 to 3 hours, because it's not really useful right now. Pirate's Wrath is an extremely massive damage attack. Then you have Fina. So Vice is our main damage dealer. We have Fina. She's kind of the mage. She's the healer. Moonberries, wherever they are, specials? Yes. So we will find moonberries throughout the game. They're a drop. They're also found in treasure chests. And moonberries are kind of special because we have to have moonberries to unlock super moves. Here's our super move list. So you'll see I have 1 moonberry, and I have a question mark down there. I have to use moonberries to unlock specials. So that final question mark requires 4 moonberries. That will be Pirate's Wrath. Look right here. Gilder has a question mark right here. It is actually highlighted. I could give Gilder this 1 moonberry and let him have a super move, but I don't really value his super moves all that much. We also have Fina. Fina also has 4 super moves. First one she unlocked is called Lunar Blessing, which gives regeneration to all characters in the field. It is a very good super move that you will see me use pretty much every boss fight. Fina also has Lunar Winds, which damages enemies, causes them to lose all buffs, but also, that's kind of the more important thing, it also has a chance of petrifying them, but I never really see that happen. She also has Lunar Cleansing, which Lunar Cleansing gets rid of all allies,
Gotcha.
all allies debuffs. No, sorry, Lunar Winds is damage plus petrification. Lunar Cleansing is get rid of debuffs. There's also one that gets rid of enemies' buffs. And then lastly, she has, I forgot the very last one's name, but it revives all characters who happen to be dead on the field. It also brings them to full health. It's expensive, but it will save your ass. Eika only has 1 that we care about, because unfortunately her super moves are kind of terrible. Super move we care about for Eika is Delta Shield. It's very cheap, and it causes us to be immune to enemy spells. A couple of damaging ones that I may get later on once I run out of reasons to use Moonstones. If I remember correctly, Gilder gets 2 damage bonuses, and then his last ability makes us immune to status effects. Drachma just does damage, and Enrique's final halves any damage dealt to us. So actually, Enrique's is fairly useful, but I'd rather just kill everybody. How long do I plan on streaming today? If all goes well, another 6 hours. Okay. The idea behind this dungeon is you complete it in 2 halves. So you first act as, let's say, Eika running around. And we will kind of complete some stuff. We'll open some treasure chests, like the Skywing there. Let's go ahead and equip that right now, because that is her next upgrade on the Grendel Wing. It isn't quite as good, but the damage increase is actually fairly good. So we'll do that, and then we'll run over here, and we'll activate this little like indicator here, and that switches us from Eika to Vice, and now we do Vice's side. So we'll be kind of solving puzzles and going back and forth between the 2 of them. This dungeon doesn't take terribly long. It's going to be about 45 minutes to an hour. Vice, really? Really? Both of you missed? When does that happen? Again? Okay, so you'll see Rain of Swords in a second here then. Yeah, this dungeon is actually very goofy because they were unable. Oh god. Oh my! Are you kidding me? 4 misses in a row. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Yeah, there's actually an outright line that that Gilder just had because they couldn't actually open the door that they just passed through. Both sides actually approached the door at about the same time, tried to open it, couldn't figure out what it is, and there was a like a line on Fina Eika's side that said like when the friends come together. Another miss. We've actually missed 5 basic attacks in a row. And Vice is being kept asleep, which is kind of a problem. If he was not asleep, I would have Rain of Swords and beaten this fight, but apparently we're not allowed to kill anything, and they're just going to keep Vice asleep, and he's the one that could actually solve this issue. This actually could be very bad. Yeah, there's actually a line from Gilder, where he kind of recognizes that there is a kind of element where there was supposed to be someone else, and he goes, you know, I wonder if there's a chance that anybody else on this island with us. Nah, what is the likelihood of that?
Take that.
So I actually did use a magic spell there. I used one of the fire spells. Normally, I wouldn't have done that. I would have just used Vice to Rain of Swords, but Vice was literally being kept in a perpetual sleep state, and you can actually lose from that. I'm actually very lucky that the snakes did not make did not make a move on Gilder, because they could have put him asleep too. Okay, so this is Zivelin Bane.
This should work.
He is a sub-boss. Find him in pretty much any major dungeon. Or find one of them. He is a master thief, and he is going after rare treasures. In order to achieve 100% completion, we have to get all the rare treasures. So we must defeat Zivelin Bane. Zivelin Bane does a lot of damage. He is a very powerful enemy. When did I last save? 30 minutes ago? 20 minutes ago?
Here goes.
That is why I have backup strats, like, you know, cast a spell like I never do. The last time I actually cast a damage spell was the Crystales box against Barda, and that was like 8 hours ago. Okay, so now we're just gonna go ahead and just beat the pants off this guy. I just had to buff up just to make sure, because he actually does do a fair amount of damage. So remember that when, now keep in mind, Gilder's not an amazing spellcaster, he's not really intended to be, but when Gilder cast Pyrez on those snakes, Gilder's Pyrez was about 3 SP, it cost him 1 MP, it dealt about 200 damage to each snake, except for one who only took 80. Vice just did Cutlass Fury. Now, Cutlass Fury is a single target, whereas Pyrez is multi-target. But Vice cast Cutlass Fury on the Zivelin Bane, and for 7 SP, so a little more than double, he dealt 1,400 damage. So that's why, like, spells are not typically worth it. They just don't deal enough damage to really be worth it like that. And Vice continues to be unable to hit the broad side of a barn. There we go. I don't know, apparently those things are dodgy or something. I don't like the boxes. Vice, dude. You have missed more things than you have hit recently. What the hell's going on with you? This is actually unusual. You don't usually miss a lot in this game. So to have had so many misses in such a short time is very weird. Okay, so this is the game's tutorializing. This is the only time we see this back and forth type of thing, which is very cool. We never see it again. The game is actually tutorializing and showing me, like, you will solve puzzles to get one side to help the other side. Oh, that's right, Fina's still hurt. We should fix that. Man, that did not do as well as I would have hoped.
Let's try this.
See, I don't know if Sakurai and Sakurulen boxes are just rare. I don't see them much.
Over there.
I don't know. Unfortunately, we do have a lot of enemies here, and I don't actually have a lot of good AoE on these characters. Fina and Eika are not really good AoE masters. So, what we're going to do is we're going to have... Yes, we don't even have boxes, even if I wanted to use one. We'll just kind of do that, and we'll do Lunar Winds on the next turn, I guess. Or I could just, you know, Pyrez. Fina is actually supposed to be the caster of the game, so I'll actually let her do her job. Which she did reasonably. The one important thing that you'll find is that every character has an SP value. So every character contributes a certain amount of SP to the SP bar. That's an SP bar across the top there. Every character contributes a certain amount of SP bar to the bar every turn. There's a base amount, and then it kind of goes up from there. So everybody starts giving 1, and they start giving more. Vice tends to give a lot of SP. That's kind of a thing that he does. Whereas Eika and Fina don't really get much. So you'll notice that they get about 4 total. Vice and Gilder get 5 total. It doesn't sound like a big difference, but when you think that each of them only gets 2, Vice gets 3, it adds up.
Be thankful for our safety.
So I need that SP, especially to start casting those spells, because you'll see when you only have, when you only have 4 SP total, and a healing spell that heals for 500 is 4, but also that magic spell that will deal a lot of damage is 4. That 4 damage means a lot. Well, that 4 SP rather. But unfortunately, Vice has all of the healing items right now. Good, because Vice and Gilder are not exactly doing well on this whole killing things front. That was weird. Did you guys hear that? That the music just reset itself? I don't think that's ever happened before.
Gotcha.
God damn, these guys and their defenses. These guys are actually not they don't have a lot of defense. They are actually actively defending.
Take that.
Why they're not taking a lot of damage? Yeah, the music just getting... I'm so glad someone else heard that. I thought it was just me. That was Rain of Swords. It didn't do quite as much damage as I would have liked, because I think, once again, this guy was defending. There's also an elemental aspect to this. So I'm currently having them use red magic, or rather just red weapons. And that is important because red weapons deal fire damage, but also it builds... it builds fire magic. I need fire magic in Incremus. The problem is, apparently these enemies are not these enemies are not weak to red magic. They are potentially strong against red magic. So I'm not doing as much damage, but that's the skill that I kind of want them to know. Okay, puzzle time. So we'll get the 2 Maiden's Armors. This is how the game kind of allows us to get away with what we're doing now. Eika and Fina have not been allowed to get better armor in a while. That's important. So it's actually giving Fina and Eika a fair amount of stuff at the moment. So, for example, the armor it just gave them is actually pretty damn good armor. And, this is how the game, by the way, tells us, what each side is doing. They gave them some good armor. It's giving them some items, because right now, Fina and Eika don't have items. So it's giving them items, so that way they will survive their way through this dungeon. That's kind of, so that's how the game shows me what's going on. When I'm doing stuff, it's actually affecting both sides from here on out. Cat's armor, which I think... 5 attack. Okay, we'll go ahead and put that in Vice. Normally, I don't like. Normally, I like Vice to have as much damage as possible, but 5 attack isn't a tremendous loss. Vice is okay. There's a Cham in this room. There's also a Moonfish in this room, but only Vice can get Moonfish. Game is also very nice. Typically, if I'm in a puzzle room, which the game doesn't actually have a lot of puzzle rooms. It kind of leaves its puzzles alone. But if I'm in a puzzle room, I think encounters are turned off. That way I can do what I need to do without having to be bothered by encounters. There's a lot of games I know that aren't nice about that. Baru. Also, thank you all for being here. Like, it's really cool. I'm looking at the viewer count. Apparently the viewer count and how many actual viewers in here are not always the same, because then I'll look at the viewer list in chat, and there will be a lot more names on there. I see like 10 names in viewer chat. I see 7 actual viewers. I don't know how that actually works. But thank you all for being in here. It is cool to have, you know, 7+ people in here enjoying this game with me. Cham. Yeah, we want to make sure we get the Chams whenever possible. And then you will see me, I'll go out of my way to open treasure chests. The reason I'm doing that is because of an end game thing. There is a kind of end game bonus, secret bosses, things like that, that you have to do a certain amount of stuff to actually get them. And among other things, it means opening like 95% of all treasure chests in the world, finding every, I don't know if you have to find every Cham, but you do have to get every Moonfish, among other things. So I'm trying to do this by memory because I've beaten this game so many times. But I did have to refer to something once for a very stupid reason. What about that? Yeah, if you see me go out of my way to open treasure chest, get a Cham, something like that, it's because I need to get them all, but also I'm trying to make sure I don't forget them for the future. Because if I get to the end of the game and I'm missing something, oh my god, it's going to be so hard to figure out what it is. Well, the good news, Phoenix, is you will see me stream a lot more. Yeah, I will be, I'll probably be streaming more nowadays. So just kind of keep an eye out for those stream notifications. As I've said before, I also recommend following me on Twitter, going to the Discord, watching me on YouTube, because all of those things get notifications for me when I stream.
Take that.
I swear, they're always defending. Well, yeah, I have a habit of, if I'm going to stream for a while. That's just kind of, you know, I don't really like doing short streams. Partially because if I'm streaming, it's a game I really want to play, so I'm just going to play for a while. That's typically why you're going to see that. Generally, and I've broken this rule once or twice, that's just because I want to do it all in one go. But generally, anything I stream, you will see show up on YouTube eventually. So if you missed it, you will see it on YouTube. Yeah, okay. Yeah, if you go look now, for example, the first two parts of the Skies of Arcadia stream, which I started a couple days ago, actually, are already up. And I've put the streaming stuff in kind of like bite-sized YouTube pieces, so you can get them at about 45 minutes at a time. Barrier for Vice. I can't remember where this one is. There you are. I mean, it's partly because of being excited. You know, if I play games, I want to play the game, so kind of a big thing there. I want to play a lot of it. Hey, Vice is doing damage again. Good job, you.
Take that.
But the problem is, I'll have games like there's a couple of games I've done this with recently. Things like Shoe, Cuphead, Lately, where I'll play a little bit of it and then something else comes up that I want to play. Those unfortunately get left by the wayside for at least a short period of time. So this is a problematic. Gilder is confused. God damn it. Confused means he will attack allies, kind of as you expected. But the issue is, not only will he do damage, but also if he's confused, there's and he attacks Vice, there's a chance that Vice will actually counterattack Gilder. And it is very likely that Vice could kill Gilder. Or that Gilder could kill Vice.
Take that.
Okay, we're good. You saw Gilder almost killed Vice, and that would have been terrible.
All in a day's work.
Let's be less stupid and heal. As I said, you will see a lot more streaming from me. I now have a job where I have a consistent schedule, so I can actually stream more. So I don't know what the actual streaming schedule is going to look like yet. I haven't decided how much I want to stream yet. But you'll actually start seeing me stream a lot more.
Take that.
I guess these snakes must just be especially dodgy or something. They've been, we've been consistently missing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have kind of a lot I want to do. We're actually, as silly as it sounds, because this year has a lot of stuff coming out, we're reaching kind of the end of release season for me, at least for the time being. Ni no Kuni 2, which comes out a couple of days here, is kind of the only game I'm interested in the first half of the year. I haven't really heard anything else that's coming out. So, because of that, I kind of have time to start working on my backlog. There's kind of a lot of stuff I've been meaning to Let's Play and do stuff like that, and a lot of stuff I've been meaning to actually play that I haven't actually played yet. So we're actually going to start seeing some of that stuff show up on the channel now. I actually can do it, you know? Are we in the final room? I think we're on the final room. I'm gonna have to go look at the list again and just see is there anything I missed, because I can't tell what it feels if I must have missed some announcements, because I just don't feel like there's a lot coming out right now. Okay, so this is the most confusing room in the entire dungeon. So we have these kind of two paths that we have to do. I have to make sure I get all the treasure chests. There's not very many, thankfully. I think that's it. Well, yeah, there's some stuff coming out eventually that I'm looking forward to, but, nope, I screwed it up. We ain't done yet. One where I'm able to walk down and across. Yeah. I mean, there is some eventually stuff, but right now, you know, a lot of stuff that I was looking forward to is just not out yet. Or is not coming out for a while. It'll happen eventually. Gotta go check with Vice and crew and just make sure. Anywhere, right? No. Didn't think so. I thought we were. Yeah, I'll probably pick up Hyrule Warriors on Switch just because I would like to get all the DLC on it and do it again. Vice and Aka both stepped in their respective things. Now the entire room rotates. I mean, Smash will happen eventually, I'm sure. I'll eventually do World Ends with you. Now, I'm reasonably certain that anything left behind on Aka's side may be lost forever. I can't remember. I have to look at the release list. You know, this is announcement season, and because I no longer work for a video game retailer, I don't know anything coming out anymore. Okay, so now we have this. So this is now here. This just opened up. So now we have the shortcut that wasn't here earlier. We'll see what happens. I have to look. I know there's, of course, going to be a lot of indie games that I'm going to end up seeing over the course of the year. They're going to be good. But I just have so much stuff to play now. Yep. So I no longer work at a game retailer. So my new job is not amazingly exciting. Fill Fina up. We're about to fight the boss. So yeah, my new job is not incredibly exciting. I am tech support and customer support for a human resources information system. Not amazingly exciting. The big deal is that it is overall kind of a better job. Bison Guild are up to tip-top shape. Good news is about it is that number one, it's basically a 9 to 5. It's 8 to 5, but it's basically a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. So I have a very decided time that I get off work, and also I have weekends off. So that's something I'm very not used to. So what that means really for the channel is that I will consistently be here at a specific time every day. I don't have to commute, so I don't have to worry about that. So that's why I'm saying you're gonna potentially see me streaming more. And then Gilda's sitting here like, wait a second, I saw these two, like, a month ago. Yep, everybody's together, it's so happy. Also, boss time! Yes, I can consistently be here, so now I can actually do something which I couldn't do, which is start looking at a consistent streaming schedule so people know when to see me. Okay, so we got this boss. And that's really all I can say about this. Just it's this boss. That's all I can say about it. Because, oh my god, is this boss just... Okay, so the problem is right now, in order to start things up, so you'll see me do a setup here. So this is an entire round right now, right? So, getting this power up. So, Glyph of Might is the spell Incrum in an item, which increases attack and defense by 25%. Glyph of Speed increases speed by 25%, which just means that we're more likely to move first, but it's kind of important because it means I can get off a heal before they attack me. This takes an entire round to get everybody set up on this. And we're not even done. I have one more. I have a couple things I have to do next turn as well. So, this is why Incrum's important, because one character can cast Incrumus, and then all of a sudden, instead of it being a 2-round setup, I'm in a 1-round setup. But we won't be able to do that until much later in the game. Okay, so next we need to start working on Destra, while Fina uses Lunar Blessing. So, this enemy pair, this boss is a paired boss. They actually have unique abilities of their own, so each one has a unique super move. But more importantly, they have a combined super move, which does a crap ton of damage if they choose to use it. But if I kill one, they don't get to use that anymore. So what I need to do is very rapidly get rid of one of them so they don't get a chance to use it. Chances are they will use it this turn. Nope, they didn't use it. Okay, awesome. I mean, keep in mind, Explode still does a fair amount of damage. Destra is probably going to use whatever his is. I think it's like Blizzard or Iceberg or something like that. It will also do a fair amount of damage. Okay, well, he didn't use it. But what this means is I now need to Cutlass Fury Destra, because we need to kill Destra this turn. Nope, that's Sinistra. So we should be able to kill Destra this turn, which will be excellent. I can't think of any reason we're not going to kill him right now. And there goes Destra. So first of all, good music! And now we will kill Sinistra. So I abuse the fact that Destra is Ice type, and Ice is weak to Fire. Unfortunately, Fire is strong against Fire, so Sinistra I cannot use red weapons against. Well, I guess we'll switch to blue. Oh, wait, what am I doing? Oops. There we go. It might not be blue that red's weak to, I can't remember. I just love it when Gilder just runs up and his melee attack is just to turn his gun sideways and shoot you in the face.
Over there.
We'll take him out eventually. And chances are we'll probably be at full health when we do. Because regeneration is broken. It is both a color and a typing. You will typically hear me refer to it as the color just because. It's actually a typing. So blue is water, purple is ice, red is fire, yellow is lightning, green is plant or life, your choice. And then silver, well, it's more plant. And silver is life and death. So it is actually a typing. And there is actually a strength and weaknesses chart. I just don't typically give any... I don't pay attention to the strength and weaknesses chart, because for the most part, it just doesn't freaking matter. Most enemies do not have a significant enough defense against type for it to matter at all. Bosses tend to be different. So that's why you saw this significantly gigantic damage bonus against Destra that I had to change up against Sinistra, because it did have this very large defense. Yep, so just like Mako was saying, there's actually 3 different boss themes. There's the basic boss theme, which is what you heard as I started that fight. Then there is the dying boss theme. This is typically when your health for the entire party is less than 50%. And the music goes to this very kind of dire in peril theme. There's also the success theme. This is typically when the boss is at 50% or less health. I like the success theme because I love how hopeful and triumphant it is. Okay, so our heroes found each other. It's great. They reunited. Today is a great day. So they went down to go to the chest that was supposed to contain the treasure, the legendary treasure of Decat. And yeah, Fennec, anytime you hear me say good music, it's because we're getting the success boss battle theme. So we get down to the treasure. It's supposed to have this gigantic pile of treasure in it, and turns out, no. It is a treasure chest that contains a single gold coin and a note that says, the friends that you have made on this journey are your true treasure. Aika's a little bit upset about this because she's going to take a big treasure because she cares about treasure. Vice is amused. Gilder really enjoys the joke. Fee doesn't really care. But yeah, the entire point is, you know, Decat was a good enough pirate that even though he did amass a gigantic pile of treasure in his life, he also would have known well enough that you can't take it with you, that you need to spend it now. Okay, so storyline now, Admiral Ramirez, who is kind of a big deal, is bringing his entire armada to burn Nasrad to the ground. We tried to warn them, they didn't listen to us. So this is another part of the storyline where we're supposed to take note of the technological advancements of Valua. This is kind of a big deal, because this entire time, every time we've seen that, you see that white fall of air, I forget what they call them, I think they're called air rifts. So the entire game so far, we've been told it's impossible to get through an air rift. The air is too strong, it'll just push you straight down to lower sky and you'll die. Well, it turns out that Valua has just created an engine that can push through air rifts. And there's an air rift that has been kind of defending Nasrad for a while. So it's an air rift that no one could get through. So they didn't have to deal with that, and they didn't bother putting in defenses there. So, you know, no defenses there. Nasrad put all of their defenses in this other way. They would expect that if Valua ever decided to show up, they would come this other way. We tried to warn them, they didn't listen. So Valua did what we knew they would do, which is they punched through the air rift, and now they're attacking Nasrad. But what this is supposed to tell us as the player is, by the way, Valua has this other thing they can do. Not only can they punch through here, but we also know that Valua has this extremely powerful experimental cannon they've been working on. So Valua has some extreme power going on right now.
That was easy.